What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. And I'm muted. I'm muted again. I'm don't worry. I'm good. I caught it. Uh I got it, Rita. I see you, baby, about to come in here and let me know. When I switch over from the studio into coming into here, um, I need to change my settings a couple different, a little bit, but we good. No worries. So what's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is Wednesday, February 8th, 2023, year of our Lord. It's another opportunity to do great things. And so we just going to jump right into the show, and I'm going to acknowledge everybody in the chat. So as I was doing prior to realizing, because I always have trained myself now to look and see whether or not I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as far as my muting, because I've been having a problem switching over from the studio and then coming back home and working from the crib and having a conversation. But what up to Alvin S? What up to Treese Westmoreland? The Alexander is in the building. What's happening? Little Black Duck 2001. Spaces. What's happening? Still no student loan forgiveness. I got my girl Jacqueline Plans. Jacqueline Plans says that, well, I'll give you all an update on that in a minute. But shout out to Biden and student loan forgiveness. Brock says, oh, Sleepy Joe. Gordon G says, worst babble ever. I'm assuming you talking about the State of the Union. So we got a few things that we want to cover today. George Rice says, worst thing in my 19 years of existence. Jesus. Pat S. Fobbs, what's happening? It's Lambert, what's happening? Draco, good morning, folks. Melvin, my guy. Anointed Life says, first live in a long time. Hello, people. What's up, Anton and the Bag Chasers? What up, though, Anointed Life? I'm going to need to see you here much more often. Beautiful Disaster, one of the prettiest girls that I know. What's happening, love? Mr. Youngblood, what's happening? Peter Investor. Tay Biz TV, Larry Walker. AQ, Kenny R, what's happening? Mike Obable, Oh, we got it. Thank y'all for letting me know that I was muted. Shout out to Jeffrey Woodland, Victoria, everybody that's in the building. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Levite Apparel, Larry Walker, Centennial G. What's happening? We know LeBron James broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record yesterday. I'm sure that those tickets was out of control. We got a full show for y'all today. And I never know what I'm going to talk about until I get in here. Is my girl Island Girl Q in here? Let me see. Let me check this. What's up, Q? Q is up early tuning into the Millionaire Morning Show. It must be my birthday or something. It must be my birthday or something. Anyways, I got a full show for y'all today. So before we get into the show, we got to do a little bit of housekeeping. So first and foremost, let me let y'all know, and I'm going to announce this probably over the next couple of weeks, just to make sure that we all on the same page, all right? First and foremost, let me give you an announcement and let you know that I am not reaching out to you in the comments. There is never going to be a me. It's going to be whoever it is that's finessing and scamming, saying, yo, this is Anton on WhatsApp. I'm helping you to join a special group. I'm not reaching out to you in the DMs as far as trying to do business with you. I'm not reaching out to you in the comments trying to do business with you. I am not reaching out to you on TikTok in order to do business with you. If you see somebody with a fraudulent account, please let me know, screenshot it, send it to me, and then report it so that we can have them removed immediately. There is a lot of spam and fake accounts. I am going to go through the process of making an attempt to go ahead and get a blue check at this point because clearly I need to do so in order to help people to understand that it is not an Anton alternative account that's reaching out to you. Why wouldn't I reach out to you on my real account with my real IG, right? So my point is that be careful, don't get finessed. Shout out to Demetrius Shaw. I checked out your resume. It is phenomenal. I actually looked at it. It is right here. It is printed. So I checked it out. Rita made sure that it got in front of me, and I did check out your resume. Demetrius Shaw said, I did the research. Can I go ahead and purchase stock? You are more than welcome to be able to purchase whatever it is that you want. I just want to make sure that you're making an informed decision and you're investing and you're not gambling when it comes to picking a company that you want to invest in. So you need to change that wording at the end from purchasing stock to making an informed decision as far as making an investment. All right. And maybe you should wait to the next coaching call because there is no reason for you to be in a rush in order to make a purchase. It's always going to be there. It's never going to go anywhere. You will be fine. So let's just wait till we talk so that I can make sure that I'm ensuring that you're making the right decision and I can coach y'all up out of there. All right. So make sure that you tap into the Patreon. If you're not a Patreon member, I am inviting you to become a part of the Patreon. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Become a Patreon member. Because you get a lot of value. You're not just supporting me, you're supporting all of your friends and family as far as aligning yourself with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. I am dropping another Patreon exclusive video tomorrow, and then I'm dropping a video 2 days after that as far as an exclusive uncensored interview video with somebody that I traveled to Jacksonville to interview. I traveled all the way to Jacksonville just to get this exclusive Patreon content that is going to be uncensored and released to you guys and you guys only. So make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat because it is the best thing for you. And if you have not watched the last webinar, you are missing out. You cannot be on content and then not watch the last webinar. Also, tune into the Alpha Juice Company. All of the discount codes are in the description. I am doing phenomenal. I am on my workout. I am having massive gains, and I cannot wait to take my shirt off this summer so you guys can see how sexy I am for rocking out with the Alpha Juice Company. But do not order your Alpha Juice until you put in a discount that I have in the description as far as the discount code. Anton, Anton10, Anton25, depending on what it is that you order. But do not order unless you at least put in Anton10 so that we can get you your discount. And you're not paying full price. So make sure that you tap into the Alpha Juice Company. They are absolutely phenomenal as far as being great sponsors of the show. Shout out to the Alpha Juice Company. I love you guys. You guys are absolutely awesome, and thank you for supporting the platform. Now, without further ado, I want to get into the show. I will be reading super chats throughout the show in order to acknowledge you. Anything that you have from $1, $2, all the way up to $5. No matter what happens, I am going to be acknowledging the people that support the platform because you are my heart. And I appreciate you if you just hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. So you don't have to put anything in. You don't have to donate to the platform. You do not have to send a super chat. Micah Bobo said the Crimson Cure show. Shout out to Crimson Cure. Crimson Cure will actually be here 2 days from now. So I got Crimson Cure. I flew Crimson Cure. I'm flying Crimson Cure in on Friday. And so we're going to do a couple different shows. We got an exclusive interview, and I'm going to have her on the panel on a live stream. But we're going to get into that in a little bit. So shout out to Crimson Cure. I absolutely love Crimson Cure. She's my heart. She's my baby. And she will be in Detroit soon for us to be doing what it is that we do. In addition to that, again, I appreciate you guys just for hitting a like for the YouTube algorithm. So if you have not already, at the very least, hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. It's the least that you can do. Turn on your notifications so that you know when I go live or I drop a new video. And then last but not least, if you have not already, make sure you check out the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, so first things first, because we got a few different things that we want to go over. First things first, the first thing that hit my desk early this morning, and I said I got to share this with the people because they need to understand and look at things from a business perspective. And you know how anal I am, no pun intended, how anal I am about forcing you guys to look at things from a business perspective. So the first thing that I want to share with you guys, I'm going to share my screen with you, is Ivy Park. Ivy Park. Now, this is a big story in the business world, and I'm going to explain to you why this is a big story in the business world, okay? Let me get myself up on the screen. Boom. Okay, so now that we're on the screen, let's have a conversation, ladies and gentlemen. So Beyonce's clothing line. Now, we had a conversation first and foremost about how y'all need to not be taking out personal loans, using your credit cards, or divesting from your 401k in order to go and see the Renaissance clothing tour. However, I want to break down this article specifically because it's very, very important for us to parse through before we get into all of the foolishness, before we start looking at the State of the Union, because I did not look at it. I wanted to review it with you guys today before we get into just pearly things, kicking out a black chick off her panel and all of that and having that conversation. Let's get to the money, all right? Let's really understand why we doing this, because throughout all of the entertainment, we got to put the medicine and the candy to make sure that you guys can live the life that you want to live and make informed decisions. Now, Beyonce's clothing line with Adidas is suffering from weak sales. Revenue from the singer's Ivy Park brand fell more than 50% last year, documents show, with no signs of slowing down. Now, why is that important to us? Well, we want to parse through the data to better understand exactly what's going on in the economy. Not only in the economy, but the potential companies that we want to invest in. But before we do that, let's read a little bit of the article and let's break it down, okay? Beyonce fans are clamoring for tickets for her world tour, but apparently her music superstar is having a harder time finding buyers for her line of inclusive streetwear. Beyonce's fashion partnership with Adidas has produced weak sales of her Ivy Park clothing brand, all right, according to documents and people familiar with the matter, leaving a roughly $200 million hole in the company's annual projections. So, one thing that we can say for sure, and we want to look at this objectively. We don't want to lean into this just because we don't like Adidas, because of Kanye's situation and all of this other type of stuff. We want to remove our emotions so that we can make informed decisions based off of the information that's being provided. Now, I'm going to tell you how I would play this if I was investing in sneaker companies. I've divested myself from investing in Nike because I don't necessarily like how Nike has been handling things, including the Kyrie Irving situation. So it's personal for me. However, it may not be personal for you, and I have to be objective enough in order to give you the information and how it is that I see this. First of all, Adidas has been trying to make inroads into the urban community. And one of the ways in which they decided to do so is they started to take advantage or try to compete with Nike as far as trying to acquire athletes that are participating in the basketball arena. Now, there is no better way for a company in order to align themselves with people outside of, and the best way that you can get some form of advertisement is not through TV, it's not through internet ads, it's not through anything that is by having an organic connection with the people that you then sell the products to, which is one of the reasons why people tap into influencers. When people send me products, when people ask me for sponsorships, and I'm gonna parse this out from a smaller scale, and then I'm gonna break it out into a much bigger platform, right? When people send me products, they understand that I would never give anything to you guys that I was not using myself, which is one of the reasons why I rock with the Alpha Juice Company, right? It's one of the reasons why I rock with T. Chanley. It's one of the reasons why I make sure that y'all tap into the Patreon, because I would never tell you to do anything that I would not do myself. I have to truly embrace it. It is a part of me. It is a part of my brand. It is a part of my image. And I value you guys, and so they understand that, and they know how loyal you guys are to me, especially my bag chasers. And so when they want to align with me, they give me the products, and then they ask me to try it, and then they have a conversation, and we figure it out over a span of time, right? What Adidas tried to do is compete with Nike on a much bigger scale, but they failed in a lot of different ways. Let's look at all of the athletes that I can just name right off the top of my head that Adidas have. They have Trae Young. I'm not really feeling those sneakers, and I don't think anybody is really buying Trae Young sneakers. James Harden, they gave him an egregious amount of money. James Harden has been stealing money from the NBA and Adidas for a very long time. Shout out to James Harden for getting his bag. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. James Harden, somebody tell me in the chat who owns a pair of James Hardens, and when have you ever seen a pair? James Harden has been stealing money for a long time. Unfortunately, unlike Kanye or Ye, James Harden has not done anything in order to void his contract, so they got to get that money up, right? You also have Dame Lillard, and no matter how much you want to call him Logo Dame, I don't know anybody that is out there going and purchasing Dame Lillard shoes. Now, Nike, on the other hand, they have a much different strategy. They have brand ambassadors. They don't always just give people their own shoe, right? Jason Tatum, for example, who I think is at some point within the next 3 to 4 years going to become the face of the NBA or one of the faces of the NBA, he is a brand ambassador for Jordan. Some people cannot carry an entire line by themselves in which people then become invested in their name, like a LeBron James, like a Michael Jordan, like a Kyrie Irving, like a Kevin Durant, right? Some people are just brand ambassadors. Melo was a brand ambassador for Jordan. Again, I said Jason Tatum. He was a brand ambassador. They trying to break out Giannis. I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. They're trying to break out Giannis, but the strategic investment that they make in these athletes, they also align themselves with entire universities and the entire league itself, or different people, or they say that we're going to make the jerseys and so on and so forth, right? But my point is that when you start to look at things like this, brands are really, really stepping out on faith in order to ensure that they can truly get their name out there and then hopefully generate some form of a profit by aligning themselves with people like Beyonce and Ye and so on and so forth. Now, we know that Ye for Adidas had been phenomenal. I mean, they had been making money hand over fist, which is one of the reasons they should have just leaned right into that, not let the cancel culture determine whether or not they should have continued to rock with Ye. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the people that are advocating the most for them to cancel the shoes are not the ones that were buying Yeezys. Let me say that one more time. The woke culture, especially the LGBTQ community, were not the ones that were immersed in sneaker culture. They were not the ones that were getting the shoes sold. And so all this tells me is that the brass that is overseeing what is happening at Adidas truly does not understand their customer, which is one of the reasons that if I were an investor, I would never invest my resources or my money into Adidas. Let me say that again. If I were an investor, I would never, ever invest my money into Adidas because they truly do not understand the culture. You probably have somebody that's sitting over there at the top. And again, I go over the 8 things that I look for when I'm looking to invest in a company inside of the Patreon. So if you're not a bag chaser, you need to get inside of that. Because I don't sell courses. It's really just whatever it is that you pay in a Patreon. That's what it is that you go with. And you get all of the information and you unlock everything, right? Adidas does not understand their culture or our culture. And it is one of the reasons why you have a foreign company coming into a completely different land and trying to sell you on something that they truly do not understand. It's similar to American companies trying to break into what's happening over there in China. And they have such a hard time because they truly do not understand what happens in Chinese culture. They don't understand why Chinese people are buying the cars that they're buying. They don't understand the language. They don't understand the culture. You'll see a brand like Yum Brands. Yum Brands, I believe, is owned like Taco Bell, KFC, all of those different brands. And then they have to shut down operations because they expanding too fast in the foreign lands and that they truly do not understand the culture. It even comes all the way, you can bring it back to America, right? In America, there are brands that expand too fast, right? And you'll have a brand that is big in the Midwest, but they cannot make inroads into the South. They have to expand slowly. They have to truly understand their customer base, and then they have to adapt to whatever it is that they're doing over there in order to ensure that things are successful. You got Adidas over here, and they had to hit a home run just because they aligned themselves with Yeezy. But the only reason that they were winning with Yeezy is because they let Yeezy have creative control and direction over what it is that he was doing because he understood his customers. Nike, they're an American company, and although I don't necessarily like what it is that they're doing, they truly understand their customers. I don't believe that Adidas, in my personal opinion, and I'm not a financial advisor, I believe that Adidas is going to continue to torpedo themselves all the way down until they can find another Yeezy or they align themselves with Yeezy and that they become they play the back seat and they let the brand ambassadors do what it is that they do and then they're successful at what it is that they got going on. Beyonce, in my opinion, was never the one that they needed to lean into as far as their Ivy Park brand and being successful. And you see it. You see it in their company projections. I've never invested in Adidas. I never will. Sales of Ivy Park tumbled more than 50% to about 40 million in 2022. That seems like a big number until you realize that the projections was much more. Their projections is coming in below the internal Adidas projections for 250 million in sale that year. So now what Adidas is trying to do is they're trying to lean into their other brands or the other people that are ambassadors for the brand to try to plug in a hole to make themselves look good for investors because they are a publicly traded company, to make themselves look good for investors because they don't have Yeezy and it's hard for them to be able to backtrack and get them back into the brand, and they trying to figure out that strategic hole that they got to plug. Yeezy was generating billions every year. They allegedly have a warehouse of over $580 million worth of Yeezy stock or Yeezy brand content that they cannot do anything with. They fumbled. They fumbled the bag. They let cancel culture mess up their bag, and now they got to make themselves available or internally available to investors because all of those same people that was calling for Adidas to be able to drop Yeezy, you know what they did? They went on and lived their lives and they never bought another. They wasn't buying Adidas anyway, so what difference do it make? It says that the documents show Ivy Park has been losing money for Adidas and Beyonce gets about $20 million in annual compensation. Contract between a pop star whose full name is Beyonce Knowles Carter and the German sneaker giant is set to end after 2023, and Adidas executives have discussed either ending or revamping the arrangement. It's over. If they were smart, they would divest themselves from this whole Ivy Park thing because Beyonce stuck them up for 20 M's a year for a long time and she got all of her money. Adidas said Ivy Park partnership is strong and successful, cap, and declined to discuss its financial performance. We continue to be inspired by it. What are they supposed to do? The struggles of the brand backed by one of the world's most successful music artists who just set the record for the most Grammy Awards, has nearly 300 million Instagram followers, which does not translate into sales. Only 40 million in sales, but 300 million Instagram followers because her strong suit is not in her ability to be able to design clothes. Her strong suit is getting up there and shaking her ass in order to make sure that these women stay single while she stay married. That is her strong suit, okay? Pharrell has been killing it though. Pharrell has been killing it. That H something MD, HBMD or whatever brand, that junk always sell out. Adidas and global sportswear seller with roughly $30 billion in market capitalization lowered its earnings outlook in November after it cut ties with Mr. West. Beyonce debuted the Ivy Park clothing line in 2016. So think about this. From 2016 through 2023. She has been sticking them up for 20 M's per year. That's $140 million, and you don't even have to do nothing but take a couple pictures and throw out a brand. Let's see. Adidas in 2019 announced its collaboration. Oh, okay. So it's 2019 in collaboration with Beyonce. On time to call it the partnership of a lifetime. Adidas executives expected hundreds of millions of dollars in Ivy Park sales and promised Beyonce guaranteed annual fees. Creative control. People familiar with the matter said it soon became clear that the Ivy Park collections weren't gaining the traction that Yeezy products did. But let me tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. And this is usually what happened. Brands take risks, especially when it comes to gambling on content creators and aligning themselves with certain people, right? And what happened was because they were doing so well with the Yeezy brand, they were able to take a risk on Ivy Park. And so if they hit 2 home runs, then they would just be out of this sphere. But it didn't really matter as to whether or not she was actually going to be a loss leader for the brand or not, because they still had Yeezy to lean on. When they lost Yeezy, and when you lose your star player, every other person that is in the fold then comes into focus, and that people start to figure out, okay, were we losing money? Are we making money? And we need to start cutting costs, because you don't have that guy that is propping up every single thing that you have in your portfolio and making you look good. And so while you have that person, you start to mine out different ideas and you start to try to get different content creators, because you're able to take more risk, because you generate more revenue. It's just like the record label companies, and that because they got Drake over there, then you can take a risk on this person, this person, this person, and some of them may win and some of them may lose, and then you may get a Tyga and you may get a Nicki Minaj, but you still got Lil Wayne and you got Drake, and so you good. But when that star players start to fizzle out, or they decide that they want to take their parts, they talents over to South Beach, then you got to start paying attention. So Nike is always going to be good, because Nike will always have the Jordan brand. Nike will always have LeBron. That's why they gave him a lifetime deal. And so they can take risk, and they're always going to be able to lean into other people from an investment perspective. And if you want to invest in a sneaker company, then I would recommend, obviously, that you lean into Nike. Nike has strong leadership on different sides of their business, especially when it comes to their application, their retail investment, so on and so forth. And I think that they know what they're doing. I just don't like the woke culture and how it is that it's affecting what's going on over at Nike. So I just got a completely different perspective. So make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Because over here at the Bag Chasers, we make sure that we get to the money, and we make sure that we parse through the information so that we can give you the most informed decision as to how it is that you need to be investing, because I do not talk about anything that I don't invest in myself. Again, I am not a financial advisor, but I'm just giving you the insight and information based off of how I see it. All right. So, in addition to that, before we get to the State of the Union, shout out to Beyonce over there messing up the bag for Adidas. Shout out to Beyonce messing up the bag for Adidas. Let me pivot for a minute, because I want to jump into this woman. Apparently, she got kicked off of Just Pearly Things show on a live stream, apparently maybe even last night. And let me get to some of these super chats before I continue into the show, because I absolutely want to acknowledge everybody that support the platform. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for holding me down. I'm always going to be doing the things that is best for you. Demetrius, I had got you already. I answered that one. Jason Hairston says, interested in starting an IT consulting company with government contractors. Been in this space for a couple years now. Want to know if you or anyone in the Discord have experience in that space. Tap into the Discord. There is a thread specifically speaking to that. You can talk to Natasha, you can talk to Tam, or you can talk to Louise. Any one of those people will make sure that they help you. As a matter of fact, I know Tam specifically specializes and highlights how it is that you can get government contracts, because she is very, very well versed in that space. And this is one of the reasons why y'all want to tap into the Patreon, because it's not only me, but we have a group of people that can add value into your life, because they see you as a brother and a sister. And we all want to pour into each other in order to ensure that we are all going in the same direction and we all entirely successful. So thank you to Jason Harrison for the super chat. I appreciate you. Melvin Johnson says, no more baller bellies, Anton, or dad bods, men fitness bag chasers. We got to get that money. Make sure y'all tap into the Alpha Juice Company, because getting that money and becoming a bag chaser is becoming the best version of yourself, not just making a bunch of money to go along with it. Shout out to Norin Blithers for always holding us down with the 50 ball. We got the people in the building that is holding down things. And Norrin Blyther said, listen, I'm not about to let you say another word without giving his 50 ball. And he ain't even giving no comment. He just said, yo, made it rain on me like I was a stripper in a strip club. Shout out to Northern Norrin Blythers for holding me down. I appreciate you, big dog. And shout out to everybody that adds value into my life and make sure that they continue to contribute to the platform, including the like for the algorithm. I love you. I appreciate you. Let me pull up this, and then we're going to get right into the State of the Union address as far as this woman. Now, this woman, I'm not going to actually show the kickoff because I think that the reaction, her going live afterwards, was probably more impressive than the actual kickoff. All right. So I'm going to turn this on, and we're going to parse through it. And then I want to get your thoughts.
At her reception, basically because she had Destiny. He's a big streamer in America. So me and Pearl, we don't get on. However, I am able to put my disdain aside for entertainment purpose. Pearl reached out to me. Esther, we've got Destiny coming on. We would like you to come on. I thought about it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the disrespect that Pearl has, so I wasn't gonna do it. But I spoke to my friends. I spoke to like people in the entertainment industry. They're like, do you know what? You should do it. And you know what? It makes sense. In terms of my career, I should be able to deal with people, even if I don't agree with them. As long as I can nicely tell you, you are being disrespectful.
First and foremost, you cannot put your son. I don't know who this woman is. I'm assuming that this Esther woman is some kind of a big deal over there in London in the UK. Because you can't sit there and put yourself in the same lane as Destiny or Just Pearly Things, and act like you. You know, I had a conversation about this the other day when I was walking through the arena when we went to the Celtics game, and I was telling Rita, I said, you know, there's some people that really think that they're bigger than they really are. And the people that are actually big have a level of humility, and the people that are like hood celebrities, they tend to think that they're bigger than they really are. But we see the hair, bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair. We see the accent. But fellas, ladies and gentlemen, and I had this conversation with Pearl when we was in Miami, it's the same everywhere. It's the same everywhere. The angriness, the delusion, the fake hair all the way down to your legs. And I don't mind a little bit of weave here and there. I don't mind a little bit of paint on that building as far as makeup. But when we overdo it, she looks no different than the women right here in America that a lot of guys are sitting there complaining about. She looks no different. So let me go ahead and play it.
But I've never witnessed this in my life. I am not a rude person. Like, I'm not a person to go and smoke with people. Unless you are rude, then
Go ahead and get y'all passports and see what you find over there.
I will call you out. So I'm talking the whole podcast. Pell keeps going. Esther, you need to learn to listen. Esther, you over talk everybody. Esther, I'm thinking, if you don't want me to fucking speak, why did you invite me on this podcast?
So, just because you can speak don't mean that you should overtalk everybody, including the host. This is one of the reasons why in my studio and what I'm building is completely different than what it is that Pearl got going on, what Fresh and Fit has going on. I know that me bringing in some of the most ratchet chicks, and I vet them effectively, and we say, no, not her, no, not her, no, not her, she can't come. I know that bringing these women onto the platform and in the studio would make for phenomenal entertainment. It would have viral moments, and it would have all of the most views. It's some things, me personally, and maybe it's just the fact that I'm a 40-year-old man and I've moved in a whole nother direction in my life. I am not built to deal with in real life. I can deal with it on the panel as far as like when we in these little boxes on the Lapeef Let's Talk on Thursday nights and stuff. I need grown people. And we can all have a difference of opinion and different perspective, but I'm not gonna be dealing with the type of women that I gotta kick out. I just can't do it. We gotta vet more. I vet more effectively for the people that I have to have on my panel. I don't want these type of women in my presence, right? So if somebody tells you, especially hosts, and they say, yo, I need you to be a little bit more mindful. Maybe you shouldn't overtalk people as much, all of this other type of stuff. And they just kind of giving you the hint because you have a lot of talking time and you over talking everybody. You need to be more situationally aware in order to make the adjustments so that you don't wind up becoming viral and then Anton got to do a review video here with you on this panel.
So I said to her, Pal, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. You just need to learn to be a bit more respectful to people.
This is good.
Even if you don't like the stuff they're saying,
I've
don't
never
be
had
saying
this
things
one.
like, oh, you need to.
Hold on, wait. This alpha juice forbidden fruit. I've never had the forbidden fruit. I don't know what's in this one, but this is slapping. This is probably the best one that I've had so far. Shout out to the Alpha Juice Company. Make sure y'all order y'all Alpha Juice. The link is in the description as well as the discount code. Let's continue.
You need to learn to listen. Esther, you overtalk everyone. Just learn to speak to people. That's all I said. I wasn't even on smoke. That's the thing. I'm not an angry person. Like, I was literally just like, please. And I did the same thing. To, what's his name? King Riches. When King Riches pissed off that girl, I said, King Riches, you need to just take accountability and just calm down, stop getting pissed off, and actually just listen to people. If you're triggering people, just listen, stop triggering people. Just be a bit more respectful. That's it. I'm all about just respecting people. So that's exactly what I done with Pearl. I just said, just like I said to King Riches, if you're saying things that upsets people, just stop it. And I said to Pearl, right now, the patronizing things you keep saying is very disrespectful. I don't like it. You invite me to your podcast.
How you gonna come on somebody else's platform and tell them what they supposed to be doing? Just curious. How are you going to go on somebody else's platform and somebody else's studio that they invested in that gives you a level of visibility? I always wonder because I don't really see guys getting kicked out like that. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, and I'm sure it does happen somewhere else or whatever, or guys fighting on camera or whatever. You don't ever see this happen with men. You never see this happen with men. And do you not know that you are on a platform where it's literally hundreds of thousands of people that is going to see this video and react to it and review it and then make memes of it and then create reels of it and put shorts up and TikToks and all of this other type of stuff. Are y'all not situationally aware? This is insane.
And I'm telling you, it's quite disrespectful. I don't like it. Please, can you stop doing that? Now this girl's telling me, get the fuck out of my house. Hey, homie! Oh my God, I'm like that girl. God, hey, homie.
What?
Get the fuck out of my house, that girl.
First of all, what was she saying and what language was that? Is there anybody in the chat that can give me some insight on what language that is? A. B. This is normal, right? The first thing that women lean into is whatever it is that they can then make themselves a victim out of. Now it's a black or white issue. First, she described and broke down how Pearl and whatever was saying, hey, you got to listen a little bit more, or you over talking people or whatever, and you was whispering to her or whatever, so on and so forth. Now it's get out of my house, black girl. I'm 100% positive. I'd be willing to bet my entire net worth that nobody, including Pearl, said get out my house, black girl. Nobody said get out of my house, black girl. But this is the way in which people then incite riots or get able to get you riled up so that you can start making it a black thing or a white thing instead of just taking accountability for the fact that you overtalk, you wasn't able to shut up, you tried to control the panel, you wanted to be modern, and then we went from there. I'm going to read Super Chats right after this. Thank y'all for everybody that's supporting the platform. Let's continue.
It's like I should just contact Baba right now. Like I should just contact Baba. Like Baba, I'm not gonna deal with that girl because I am so fucking angry. How?
I said the same thing to the girl that was on the panel for Lapeef for the Lapeef and Sundays. I said, listen, your power is in your femininity. Your power is in your femininity. Nobody cares. For all of my ladies that's watching this, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, whatever. Your power is in your femininity. You're never going to beat us. You're never going to beat the platform. You're never going to beat men. You're never going to beat whoever owns the whatever. We have seen, if it's one thing that Fresh and Fit has demonstrated to us, is that there has not been one woman, not one, that has ever outperformed them or beat them as a result of getting kicked out of their show. Let me say that again. It does not matter how angry you get. It does not matter how right you think you are. There has not been one woman that has then overtaken them or made them look bad as a result of them kicking them out of their show. You're not going to win through all of that anger and that black. All you continuing to do is feed into the stereotype, which obviously is not a stereotype because it's being shown and displayed right here. All you're doing is feeding into the narrative that black women are angry. And you're angry no matter if you're United States, you're angry no matter if you're in Nigeria, if you're Jamaican, if you over in London in the UK, or you over in Dubai. All you're doing is feeding into the stereotype, and then you have to have a whole, for every one woman like this, she sets back 100 women that then display all of their femininity, that look great, that operate a certain type of way. Because I'm going to tell you, we not necessarily, because it ain't entertaining to show a woman that's just in her femininity and chilling. That's not the thing that people want to see. They want to see the righteousness. And so you become the example of what it is that men say that they don't want and society have to deal with when it comes to labeling and stereotyping black women as angry. Because you are it.
How dare you!
Talking with the hands,
No, honestly,
snatching dreams,
so
flipping that weave around.
I'm so pissed.
She
Someone would teach her a lesson. I feel like someone needs to teach her a lesson. I feel like we need to come up with a plan because that's fucking out of order. I'm so sorry. Oh, you guys are still here, you okay? Yeah. Come. Can you guys come and say something? Can you talk about what happened in there?
So, the calmness comes in. That's A. B, now they're trying to recruit to get somebody on their team because you can't shut the live down. Apparently, this was live. You can't shut the live down. And so now you have to get people in order to substantiate your argument.
It was crazy, child. Can you guys say your honest feedback as to what happened in there?
Who was that pretty little girl in the blue? Who was that feminine little girl in the blue? Jesus Christ, what are we doing? Listen, I know this is about the angry black woman right now, but that dude came in. Oh my God, this dude came in zesty in a mug, hair matching the coat and the whole 9 yards. Hands in both pockets. We're going to get back to the video. But good Jesus, Lord, have mercy in heaven. Lord, oversee this and take over. That dude looked like he is about to... Jesus Christ. Every time I look at that scene, let me just rewind it and see how he came in one more time. Just give me one. Y'all got to show me a little bit of grace. Just show me a little bit of grace. Watch how he come in.
Can you talk about what happened in there? It was crazy, child. Can you guys...
I'm sorry. Oh, that hair is laid, fried, and fried to the side. What did they say, Rita? What did they say when the girl's hair is done? It's fried, dyed, and laid to the side or something like that? Yeah. That hair is fried, dyed, and laid. That dude putting y'all to shame. That dude hair is bouncing. Got the Febreze in it. Is Febreze the right term? What is Febreze? Oh, Febreze is for clothes. What do women put in their hair to make it bounce? That hair probably smelled just like a curl wine. Oh, oh, Jesus. All right, all right, all right. Let's get back to the video.
See your honest feedback as to what happened in there.
I had a lot of fun. It was hilarious.
No, talk
She
about
wants
the
to feedback about her
scenario.
getting kicked off.
Me getting kicked off. Please, can you comment on that? Because I'm actually fuming.
Look at that
Why?
dude.
Right.
He got his hands in both pockets. and the belt loop, and you know, it's going over like this. The belt, how you know. I don't be knowing what's going to pop up on these videos.
I think that the biggest problem is when the host is talking. If you keep talking over, the show kind of like descends into chaos. I think that was the issue she was running into.
So was it just me talking?
Oh, shut that hoe down. Shut that hoe down. He did it nicely. He didn't even do it like, he didn't give her the Kevin Samuels treatment. He gave her the zesty treatment. He shut that hoe down immediately. And you see how she, look, what? Y'all don't agree with me? Y'all don't agree? What? Is it me? Is it me? He said, listen, it's her show. She can do what she want to do. Let me let this play out a little bit.
No, there were a few people. It wasn't just you. I think everybody's trying to get away with
But
it.
everybody, that's what you do on a podcast. You speak.
Well, yeah, but if you keep talking about the host, everything falls apart. It gets
That's
fun.
what everybody did.
Yeah, and they all got kicked out. There's not like 5 people left.
Yeah, but no. King Richard was talking over people. At some point, you were speaking over
King Richard was
people.
quiet most of the podcast. I was quiet for quite a bit, and I had my speaking time. Even Auntie was talking a lot, but she wasn't talking over people. I think that the main issue is that, this would be my advice for shows, is that a lot of people talk over a lot of people, but when the host starts talking, you gotta chill. Because if you talk over the host too much, that'll get you kicked off almost anything, I think. That's usually what people... So even if you see a lot of people talking over each other, when the host starts talking, you gotta chill, otherwise, yeah, I think shit gets fucked from there. That's just
Now she want to be quiet. Now she want to be submissive. She want to be submissive to that white man. You know, I don't even believe in the whole race talk. But now she want to be submissive, and now she want to start listening. I don't really think she hearing him because he not validating what it is. It's nothing like a black woman scorned. Let me tell y'all, fellas. There is nothing like a black woman scorned. She is going to shut up, but when he leaves, I guarantee you she going to be quiet and she going to try to find somebody else in order to validate her. If she can't find nobody else, then she just going to get off the live and she going to make it a black issue. I guarantee you.
what I've seen on shows.
So do you think I was in the wrong in that situation?
I think so, just because it was her podcast.
Ooh, that white woman also said that you was wrong. So the white woman and that man said that you was wrong. Girl, you in trouble. You double promoted into the bad.
Sometimes she does have the right to talk over because she's the host.
No, I'm not saying no.
And I heard what you were saying, but
my point is, I just said, Pearl, you need to stop saying things like, wait, you need to learn to listen. Like, that is very patronizing.
It is, but it's her show.
So because it's her show, she can be disrespectful to
So
people.
saying that you need to learn to listen or you need to stop over talking people is Y'all so easily offended. I hate these hoes.
Is that how you guys think she thinks?
I think there was another way to go about it rather than it to turn into.
How can I have gone? I literally said it in a nice way. Pearl, please, can we stop saying, "Oh, Esther, you don't listen."
I think
How else can I have done that?
It's hard when the cameras are rolling and for her to, yeah, I'm not sure. It was very messy. But
I think if you have problems with the host, I think the best way to bring it up is afterwards.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, but we've tried. Me and
But
Pearl,
if you do it
we're
on the
not
show,
friends.
the host is always going to win. It's like fighting with the cops. You're never going to win at that point.
So you guys think just because she's the host, she can be disrespectful to people?
No,
in a way, yeah. Well, no, yeah, she can be. And then at that point, you either leave or because it's their show. You're like in their kingdom. It's like their world.
Yeah, it's
No,
my
you know
house.
what it is?
It's my platform. It's my rules. We're going to do this according to how it is that I see fit. And again, I have not watched the show because I can't say whether it's disrespectful or not, but I see the anger in this woman's eyes. And you got to control yourself. You got to control your emotions.
you know what Pearl is.
Are you guys listening to this? Because you are the host of a podcast, you can be disrespectful to people. Sorry, where does that make sense?
That makes sense. That's how it's like if you're in somebody else's house, they can be disrespectful to you.
It's like
right?
your boss at work. You're not gonna.
Oh yeah, your boss at work. Yeah. If you go into somebody else's house and they're like, I don't want you to do.
You invited me to your show. I wasn't being disrespectful to her. I just said, Pearl, please, can you stop doing this whole, Esther, you need to learn.
Now, Destiny obviously is the one that got the most sense, and maybe because he has a huge platform himself, but he's the one that's operating like he got the most sense and actually coming through and giving her some logic, but she still don't want to listen. Man, listen, once you get to a certain space and a woman just says, listen, I don't really care what you say. It's only about being right, and I need somebody to validate me. The only thing that she needed was another black person or another black woman in there in order to validate her behavior, and then she would have went to 9,000. Thank God you actually got blue hair over here that's actually giving her some game on how it is that she need to do things differently.
Listen, it's quite patronizing. That's all I said. What, was I being disrespectful?
I don't think that was the problem. I think it was trying to talk over her for over and over and over again.
Yeah, but she was trying to talk over me as well.
Yeah, but she's host. It's her show.
Oh, so it's okay. She can be disrespectful to me, and I'm supposed to stay there.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's be careful.
Well, anyway, say bye to everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm gonna.
Bye.
Yeah. Be
But
careful.
anyway, it was lovely meeting you.
Yeah. Have fun.
I actually would. Do you know the reason? Like, listen, guys.
Yeah, what?
This is the only reason I came here today. Cause
He don't even want to be on camera. He's like, okay. I really don't even want. I don't even rock with you. I'll rock with Pearl. I'm only here because of Pearl. What's your name again?
I watch his content here and I proper rate him. I was like, do you know what? Me and Pearl don't get on. Like, me and her, we've had that little beef.
Don't grab me. Let me go.
Destiny's coming on. I would like you to come on. And that is the reason I fucking came today.
He got up out of there too. You see how he left? Oh, I see a black guy right there. You see that black guy right there? Hold on. Y'all see that black guy right there, right under her elbow? And Destiny don't even want to be in there right now. He like, yeah. He didn't even say bye. He just dipped.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm a fan. Okay, so these people think just because I'm not the
black
host,
guy in there,
I can take disrespect.
I'm about to read the super chat shortly.
What do you guys think? Because I don't think so. I don't think anybody should be able to disrespect anybody. If you bring me to your house and you're disrespectful to me, no, it shouldn't run. Anyone's house, even if we're in the Queen's palace, the Queen should not disrespect me. I do not care where I am. Do not disrespect people.
And this is how black women wind up getting thrown out on their head. This is how women wind up getting thrown out on their head. It's unfortunate. It is very, very unfortunate that we are dealing on, or we are having conversations today in 2023, after all of this time, still trying to convince black women that they need to focus and stop leaning around and putting curses on people. Didn't she say some voodoo junk? Somebody in the chat said she said some voodoo. Somebody in the chat said she said some voodoo. I'm reading super chat shortly.
It's that simple. But anyways, I'm listening to what the other guys are saying. So
hopefully that man don't simp. At least Destiny didn't simp. At least he had a level of masculinity about him and his talking points, and that he stood on his square. So I got to give him some props on that. I hope she don't call this black man and he simp.
Because it was Pearl's show.
You know what she gonna call him?
She can disrespect me. I don't agree with that. I definitely don't agree. Please, can you come and say something?
Oh no! Did I call it or did I call it? If you can't get one person, if you can't get two people, let's resort to finding a black woman or a black man to try to find them to agree with you. Did I call it or did I not call it? I have not seen this. This literally dropped about an hour ago. It literally says right here. Hold on. It says an hour ago. It just dropped an hour ago. I have not seen this at all. I just called it. Please, for the sake of God. Please, for the sake of God, do not simp out, sir. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, come and speak to this.
Nope, I'd have said no.
Great,
No.
gentlemen, come. You look amazing.
He don't even want to do it.
Come. No, come. Okay, you show
Don't
up
do
next.
it. Leave that whole
Okay,
shit.
come.
I like what he doing right now. He not falling for the okie doke. Don't do it. Don't go talk. Don't validate her bad behavior. Leave that hoe where you found her.
Let's hear from this nice-looking gentleman.
Oh, now she. That's how they get you. Don't do it, y'all. Now he a nice-looking gentleman. Now he's sexy and all of this other type of stuff, and y'all don't fall, black man, don't fall for it, black man, don't do it, don't you simp out. I thought he was a strong one. I thought he was one of the good ones.
Beautiful.
Don't do it.
Chocolate.
What I'm gonna say is,
What do you think about the situation?
Don't be a puppet for these people, yeah? Because
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I knew it. I knew it. It's nothing like a good black man to simp out. Nothing like a good old black man to just go ahead and just validate the behavior and just mess it up for every single guy that come after him. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. He knew better. He knew better. I knew it. Ain't nothing like a good old black man to jump up with his cape on, his Captain Save Him cape on, and go ahead and save him a hoe. Go on ahead and save you a hood rat. Let her hair be down to her back and save him. E40 warned us against these type of people. I knew it was going to be a black one. Go ahead, Sambo, and save her.
I understand when those that were saying, what were they saying? It's their podcast, so they can be as rude as they want.
Yeah, so they're saying, yeah, she can be disrespectful as long as it's a podcast.
No one should ever be disrespectful, especially if you've got guests in your house. You understand?
Thank you.
That doesn't make no sense.
You can't invite people just to be disrespectful to them. What the fuck?
I'm not gonna allow someone to be disrespectful to me just because I'm in there. That don't make no sense. If they be nice to me, I'll be nice to them. That's how life works. Simple as.
Thank you.
That's what I say.
Oh God.
Big up my 300 people. Yeah, big up the people. Though.
I'm disgusted. I don't want to watch no more. I don't even want to watch this no more. I'm done with this. I am done with this video because of Jesus Christ. Nothing like a good old strong black man to stand up for our black women and protect them against themselves. I bet you that chick Ollie Dreams the other day went on ahead and found her a sister code or another black man to go ahead and validate their bad behavior. And I'm going to just tell you, this is what is wrong with the black community, is that we're so busy trying to validate bad behavior instead of holding each other accountable so that we can get better and we can get to the results. We so busy trying to be on code that we doing it against our own best interest. He ruining another black man's life. Hopefully he got some Gawk 3000 at the very least of it. Hopefully he got at least get some Gawk 3000 at the very least of it. God bless us. God bless the black man. Let me read these super chats and see what's happening out here in the streets. Colin Cole says that forbidden fruit look, man, this junk is so good, bro. I don't know what they got. Can you find out what's in this? Go to the Alpha Juice Company website and find out what's in this. That forbidden fruit flavor. Make sure y'all tap into the Alpha Juice Company. The link is in the description. And make sure y'all don't order it unless you put the discount code in, because this junk is slapping. Beautiful Disaster, or it was Our Streets. One of them two. They said that it's another one, a Blue Meanie. I think that they said Blue Meanie is really, really good. You had the Blue Meanie too?
I think that's the one.
Rita been stealing my Alpha Juice Company. Rita's been stealing my Alpha Juice Company. Thank you to Colin Cole for the 2-ball. My dog Brock is in the building. Says, I remember her face from Pearl's show. She definitely has a problem with over-talking other guests and getting overly emotional bit in conversation. Crazy. You notice how that junk didn't fly when me and the lead attorney was in the room. Maybe it was just the women that we was talking to. Shout out to Brock. Big Podcast says, who's going to wife someone who feels everything should be how they want it and throw a tantrum if it isn't that way? These dudes jump and ship. No, they're not. You know what's happening, Big Podcast? People like that is coming in. They saving the day. They validating bad behavior. What's in it?
Dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit.
Mango.
Oh, the dragon fruit is what the little dot says at the bottom there.
Probably cayenne pepper. That's cayenne pepper.
That's cayenne pepper.
Dragon
fruit, mango,
pineapple,
apple, peach, cayenne. Woo, this junk slapping. Slap. Ah!
You're supposed to shake it.
I shook it. It's already shaking. Don't be coming in here messing up my Alpha Juice company. Silhouette said what the 10 ball says, he came in the frame and leaned in like a non-binary Mary Poppins. I'm Twan too says she thought she had a friend. She did in that black man at the end. Xavier Foster says you got to talk to Pearl about this recording here. Wow, this chick is trying to get her canceled right now. Ain't nobody worried about her. Ain't nobody worried about that chick. B. Cartwright says young black British want to be American so bad. I don't know what these British chicks is like. I don't have not a clue at all. At all. So listen, again, make sure that y'all, bless you. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. I want to dive into this. I want to dive into the President Biden thing. Make sure y'all tune in, tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Did y'all see this yesterday, or was y'all too consumed with all of the nonsense? Was y'all actually concerned about y'all country? I didn't watch it simply because I wanted to make sure that I reviewed it today. We got Cam up here. Hey, Cam. What's up, Cam? Kamala Harris is in the building. And I heard that Cam was a AKA. She an AKA? I think Chaotic said that on a Lapeef Let's Talk show. Did y'all actually tune into something to better understand what's going on with y'all country, or was y'all just tuned into the nonsense last night? Was the only thing that mattered was the ratchetness and not the righteousness? Make sure y'all hit a like for these YouTube algorithms, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. I'm going to speed it up. I'm going to speed it up accordingly because this is a long video and I want to get to the thick of things. Let me find out when Biden came in. All right. Well, see nothing happening. Oh, there go that judge that he nominated, all of the judges. It's too many formalities. It's not enough actual doing things. Think about this. The first 10 minutes, nothing has happened. Amos Akon says, Anton, I was working on a crypto called Pastor Bro, DAO. I'm making where we put our money together using DeFi to buy property overseas. I was trying to get a hold of you to be influenced. Send me an email. If y'all need to get in touch with me, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. I do all business through email. I don't do any business over DMs or anything like that. None through the comments. If y'all need to get in touch with me, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. For business inquiries, if you need a coaching call or a Zoom call, make sure you email me at the same address and we're going to get you set up. Let me see if we can get to the point where Biden actually was speaking. I don't see anything yet. He in there shaking hands. Hey, the first 30 minutes, he just walking through and shaking hands. He not actually doing anything. Shout out to Amos Khan. I appreciate you, big dog, for the super chat. I got the sound off for a reason because there's nothing actually happening right now. And I got it sped up 1.25. All right, so let's see where we can get to the actual speech.
Need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home. Got to work something out here. Members of the cabinet, leaders of our military, Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and to you, my fellow Americans. I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you. And I want to
Hey, who writes the jokes?
Congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader in history, Hakeem Jeffries.
Why do they always want to highlight the blackness of somebody when a black person does something or accomplishes something? The first black leader, the first black this, the first black that. I don't ever want to be highlighted or celebrated just because I'm black. I want to be highlighted and celebrated just because I'm good at what it is that I do and I earn my spot.
He won in spite of the fact I campaigned for him. Congratulations to the longest-serving leader in the history of the United States Senate, Mitch McConnell. Where are you, Mitch?
Mitch didn't even stand up.
And congratulations to Chuck Schumer, another term as Senate Minority Leader. I think this time you have a slightly bigger majority, Mr. Leader. You're the majority leader. About that much bigger? Yeah, well, I tell you what.
Somebody talks slow when they start to sound normal, and you got to sped up 1.5 times the speed.
Special recognition to someone who I think is going to be considered the greatest speaker in the history of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi.
All right, I don't want to hear all of this. I want to hear the actual speech.
Of always moving forward, of never, ever giving up. It's a story unique among all nations. We're the only country that has emerged from every crisis we've ever entered stronger than we got into it. Look, folks, that's what we're doing again. 2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years.
Now, let me tell you why this is a white lie. All right? I already see a lie. I have not seen this. This is the first time that I'm seeing it. The reason why it's a white lie is because we all know that Trump had the unemployment rate, especially the unemployment rate amongst African Americans, at the lowest rate in history. He had one of the lowest unemployment rates as far as from the time he came into office to the time that he left office. His unemployment was we were rolling from a financial perspective. We was controlling what was going on with China. We was starting to gird ourselves up with a semiconductor chip war. We was putting tariffs on people and all of that other type of stuff. We was bringing jobs back to America. We didn't have enough positions to be able to fill those jobs. What he's doing is he's using the pandemic in order to illustrate how many jobs he's created. So it's a white lie. He didn't create no jobs. The federal government laid off everybody, and then they started giving them stimulus checks at the time in order to make sure. And they didn't want to open up any of these places, but certain states decided that they wanted to do so. States like Michigan, that was Democratic controlled and led by Governor Whitmer, for example, they distracted you by continuing to give you stimulus checks in order to pivot against President Trump. And then they created a narrative so that they can try to get him in office. And then it seems like they created all of these jobs, when in reality, all they did was create a bunch of inflation. They printed a bunch of money. They kept everybody home. They made sure that the federal government wasn't generating the type of revenue that it was supposed to generate. Part of the reason is because people ain't paying their student loans. And then they tried to pivot it and made it seem like they was creating so many new jobs, when in reality, those jobs never went away. Everybody was just sitting home for the pandemic. It's nonsense. What about all the layoffs that's going on right now? What about inflation that was at almost 10%, the most since the 80s? This is a white lie. It's so cap. It's so cap already. He started it off cap, bro. This is trash already.
Because of you all, because of the American people. 2 years ago, and 2 years ago, COVID had shut down, our businesses were closed, our schools were robbed of so much, and today, COVID no longer controls our lives. And 2 years ago, democracy faced its greatest threat to the Civil War, and today, though bruised, our democracy remains unbowed and unbroken. As we gather here tonight, we're writing the next chapter in the great American story, a story of progress and resilience. When world leaders ask me to define America, and they do, believe it or not, actually I can define it in one word, and I mean this: possibilities. We don't think anything is beyond our capacity. Everything is a possibility. You know, we're often told that Democrats and Republicans can't work together. But over the past 2 years, we proved the cynics and naysayers wrong. Yes, we disagreed plenty. And yes, there were times when Democrats went alone. But time and again, Democrats and Republicans came together to defend a stronger and safer Europe. It came together to pass once in a generation infrastructure law, building bridges connecting our nation and our people. We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact,
you know, one of the reasons why I hate these State of the Union speeches is because everybody clap, or all of the Democrats clap, or all of the Republicans, depending on who's speaking, clap in the middle of whatever the speech is, and it slows the speech down and it makes it. I'm going to just skip past a lot of this crap.
I signed over 300 bipartisan pieces of legislation since becoming president, from reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, to the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love.
Basically, gay rights. Gay rights. See, they want to skip over that. Let me slow that part down.
Violence Against Women Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love. And to my Republican friends, if we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well. I think our conflict, for the sake of conflict, gets us nowhere. That's always been my vision of our country, and I know it's many of yours. To restore the soul of this nation, to rebuild the backbone of America, America's middle class, and to unite the country. We've been sent here to finish the job, in my view. For decades, the middle class has been hollowed out in more than, and not one administration, but for a long time. Too many good-paying manufacturing jobs moved overseas. Factories closed down. Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be.
And that all happened under President Clinton. NAFTA, President Clinton. They shipped all of these jobs and they farmed out our manufacturing, which has now become a national threat because they're trying to reel all of this stuff back in order to control what's going on logistically and what's going on from a technological perspective. And so they enabled foreign companies in order to continue to grow. And they've hollowed out what happens here in America, which then hollowed out the jobs. And it also farmed out all of our national security, in which we had to become even more interested and have a greater interest in these foreign companies in order to control what's going on. See, they don't want to really talk about the real issues. They don't really want to talk about what's really happened in the United States of America, right? And you want to talk about Trump was the one that highlighted and trumpeted the idea that we needed to get tough on China and we needed to start bringing jobs back here into the United States of America, and that we needed to close off our borders. Trump was the one that started that. He was the one that started putting that bug in our ear and started having that conversation. He was the first president that really started getting tough on China. He said, "We're not friends. Y'all don't have our interests at heart. Here's all of these tariffs. We need to renegotiate what's going on with the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. He renegotiated with Canada. He renegotiated with Mexico. Then he said this ain't fair and we need to have a different conversation." We're not going to sit here and act like this is, come on, man. Please don't get finesse black people. Please don't get finesse white people. Please don't get finesse Asians, Mexicans, Hispanics, whatever it is that you want to call yourself, girl, boy, black, white, whatever. Please do not get finessed. It's nonsense.
Along the way, something else we lost: pride, our sense of self-worth. I ran for president to fundamentally change things, to make sure our economy works for everyone, so we can all feel that pride in what we do. To build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. I know a lot of you always kid me for always quoting my dad, but my dad used to say, "Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck." He really would say this. It's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, "Honey, it's going to be okay," and mean it. Well, folks, so let's look at the results. We're not finished yet by any stretch of the imagination.
And it's not going to be okay, because I'm going to tell y'all, the middle class is dying. The middle class is dying. It's not going to be okay. 100,000 don't go as far as it used to. My dog, Malevolent Elephant, is in the chat, and he told y'all, he said eggs is like literally $10,000 now. Chicken is like $100 million now. You are not going to be okay. The only way that you're going to be okay is if you join the Patreon and align yourself with the bag chasers that's going to hold you accountable and push you in the direction that you're supposed to go in, and you get your Alpha Juice Company. That's the only way you're going to be okay. Other than that, you doomed. That's it.
But unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low. Near record unemployment. Near record unemployment for black and Hispanic workers.
Where's Roland Martin in this thing? Applaud.
We've already created, your help, 800,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs, the fastest growth in 40 years.
How can you create all of these manufacturing jobs without first the foundation of building out the facilities and the manufacturing job? Listen. He's literally taking credit for all of the different things that Trump put into place prior to him getting there. He's taking credit for all of the things that Trump put into place before he even got there.
And where is it written? Where is it written that America can't lead the world in manufacturing? I don't know where that's written. For too many decades, we imported projects and exported jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Folks, inflation.
Don't talk about inflation.
It's a global problem because the pandemic disrupted our supply chains.
Whoa. You see what just happened there? When it came to champion the things that he actually benefited from the previous administration, he says We did this. But when it comes to taking accountability for the things that Americans is facing right now, such as inflation, it's the pandemic's fault. We did this as far as creating jobs. When it comes to inflation, it's the pandemic's fault. Listen, nothing we can do. It wasn't our fault. It's all about the pandemic. And listen, we've been fighting it off. We've been making sure that we artificially lay everybody off and to increase rates because it was the pandemic that did it. The pandemic is inflation. Jobs is us. Pandemic is inflation. Jobs is us. Okay? Costs, pandemic. Jobs, legislation, marry who you want, us.
And Putin's unfair and brutal war in Ukraine disrupted energy supplies as well as food supplies, blocking all that grain in Ukraine.
Blocking all of that grain in Ukraine. This dude, did you just hear what he said? This is the president of the free world. Let me slow that down. The president of the free world sat here and told us on the State of the Union, and they blocking all of that grain in Ukraine.
In Ukraine, disrupted energy supply fair and because the pandemic disrupted our supply chains, and Putin's unfair and brutal war in Ukraine disrupted energy supplies as well as food supplies, blocking all that grain in Ukraine.
Do you see how slow this guy sounds when you put it at the normal speed? Do you see how slow that this guy sounds and how bass it sounds when you put it? That's normal speed that I'm playing it at right now. Oh God. Why in the time that I'm living on this earth that we got to deal with this foolishness?
But we're better positioned than any country on earth right now. But we have more to do. But here at home, inflation is coming down. Here at home, gas prices are down $1.50 from their peak. Food inflation is coming down, not fast enough, but coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months. While take-home pay has gone up. Additionally, over the last 2 years, a record 10 million Americans applied to start new businesses. 10 million. And by the way, every time someone starts a small business is an act of hope. And Madam Vice President, I want to thank you for leading that effort to ensure that small businesses have access to capital and the historic laws to be enacted.
What? Kamala Harris has ensured that small businesses has access to capital. You know, guys, listen, I'm going to take this opportunity to celebrate myself right now because I'm sick of this, right? I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? Because I did an interview last night and I did a podcast interview yesterday. And I'm going to tell you, this is what greatness looks like, right? Because I checked my credit score this morning because I was curious. And I said, you know what? There's nothing like showing the receipts. Nothing like showing the receipts. And so let me give you a little bit of insight on what my credit score looks like, right? And this is just this morning. It changed this morning. See that? See how it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's based off of what you buy and all of this other type of stuff. See that? Oh, I got to flip it around just to make sure. I'm going to tell you how insignificant credit is, right? Because I might do a Patreon exclusive. This is how insignificant credit is, right? I got an 808. 808 Mafia. I got an 808, right? My credit score is 808. Okay? Let me scroll up for you a little bit. 0 credit card use, 0 derogatory remarks, no debt. 0 debt. Okay? 0 debt. Credit history, only 3 years, right? Credit is so insignificant, ladies and gentlemen. It is the gamification of people in order to get you to pay things that you don't even need to impress people that don't even like you. You don't need credit in order to get a high credit score. You don't have to have a bunch of credit cards. You don't have to have a bunch of debt. You don't have to be paying on no nothing in order to actually be able to substantiate how it is that you're moving. You don't have to have anything in order to. I got an 808 and I have zero credit cards, zero credit card debt. Nothing. Nothing. The only reason I even have the credit cards, the American Express as it is because I use it in order to get into the lounges, the different lounges when I fly into the airports. And we get all of the points in order for them to be able to reserve your card for whatever it is that they do incidentals at the hotels and stuff like that. You got to have a credit card in order to rent a car and stuff like that. But as far as actually using credit for anything significant, you got to be able to just divest yourself from that nonsense. You got to divest yourself from that nonsense. So I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of a detour because I like to celebrate myself and my bag chasers. Bag chasers, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. I'm going to do a special live stream probably this weekend, similar to how I did the live stream yesterday, to help y'all to understand how you can finesse the system in order to make sure that you get a phenomenal credit score and you don't even need it to do anything except for to get the best rates. Getting a great credit score is nothing. Don't let these gurus and all of these credit card, hey, we can get stuff removed. Don't let them finesse you. Don't pay nothing. Don't spend $100,000 in order to get your credit right. I'm going to give you the game in the Patreon. Probably this weekend I'll do a live stream, similar to how I did it the last time when I did the webinar. I did a webinar last week. Y'all need to check that out. It's chock full of information. I am going to give you the game. And here's the thing. I like to show the receipts. So I'm not giving you the game based off of something I think. I'm going to show you how to get an 800 credit score without even blinking. I'm going to give you the game on how you can level up and become the best version of yourself, and you do not have to give anybody any dollars or any information in order to do it. Bag chasers, make sure y'all tap in this weekend. I am probably going to do a live stream on this weekend in order to give y'all the game on how it is that you can level up from the credit perspective, and then how to leverage that credit to not get more in debt or pay interest on anything, but in order to be able to continue to do the things that you need to do financially in order to make yourself or put yourself in the best position possible. You do not have to get a credit repair service. You do not have to do anything illegal. You don't have to do any of this nonsense. Tap into the bag chasers. We going to have a conversation this weekend. I'm going to give you the game, and I'm going to let you come up on the panel and be able to ask me anything that you want. I'm going to break down every single thing. And again, you're not hearing it from a person that's just making it up. You're hearing it from a person that got an 800 plus 7 credit score. So anything above 740, you perfect anyway. Anything above, we're going to talk about it on this weekend. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get back to the foolishness, ladies and gentlemen.
That are going to just come into being. Standing here last year, I shared with you a story of American genius and possibilities. Semiconductors, small computer chips the size of a fingerprint that power everything, from cell phones to automobiles and so much more. These chips were invented in America. Let's get that straight. They were invented in America. We used to make 40% of the world's chips. In the last several decades, we lost our edge. We're down to only producing 10%.
Let me give you all the game, right? Because any Democrat or Republican or politician, for that matter, can give you they can spew out. They can say, well, listen, we used to make 40% of the world's chips. If y'all remember, and y'all need to understand this, it was probably one of my more unpopular shows because it was chock full of information and it wasn't really entertaining, right? But it was chock full of information. I did a live stream well over a year ago where I broke down everything that you needed to know about semiconductor chips, including the companies that you needed to invest in. And ASML is one of the reasons, right? ASML is the company that actually makes the only company in the world that makes the machines that can then produce these semiconductor chips that is then being manufactured now in the United States of America and in Taiwan and in China. All right. Let me tell you how well versed I am in the economic community, right? The person that actually used to work for, one of the scientists that used to work for ASML has now deflected over to China to start his own company. One of the reasons why the United States is levying so many penalties and tariffs and things like that against China is to then drive out of business his company, which it is going out of business because China is trying to get a leg up on the manufacturing of chips because they are also dependent on other countries in order to be able to put together these semiconductor chips, which then power everything that's going on in the United States. The other side of it is that in order to justify it, the United States just can't do it for financial reasons. They have to classify it as a security issue, and it is a security issue. And so what they're doing is empowering and having a semiconductor chip war in which China is losing right now, largely because of the impact of some of the things that Trump was doing before Biden got in office. But ASML is the company that I am championing the most as far as that is going to play a pivotal war from a financial perspective and a profitability perspective, because the United States have to incentivize them to continue to do business with them and them only in order to block out other countries like China, and then they justify it from a security issue. And then places like these companies that are publicly traded become more and more successful and more profitable. And as a result, regardless of what's going on in the chip industry today, you need to trace through and understand where the supply chain is going through in order to understand where it is that you need to invest your money. It's not just looking at it from a profit perspective. It's not just looking at what goes on Market Watch or Bloomberg and things like that. It's better understanding the supply chain and who is the person and who are the people that are incentivized in order to continue to work with the federal government. That's where the money flows. Okay? This is not Dave Ramsey type of information right here. What we do over here at the Bag Chasers is that we deep dive from a C student's perspective so that you can better understand where it is that you need to be investing your money. The stock market is not an opportunity for you to gamble. The stock market is an opportunity for you to invest in companies that you otherwise would not have had access to if they were privately owned. ASML is a publicly owned company. You can invest in AM. I'm not telling you to invest in it. That's not what I'm doing, and I'm not a financial advisor. What I'm telling you is that you need to become more informed on what's happening, because if you follow the money, then you can better understand politics. And so people like Biden can't then say anything to you without the additional context for you understanding why and what is happening. Because if you follow, come on, Bag Chasers, come with me. We looking at the State of the Union not to be upset by the politics. We looking at the State of the Union, understand that it's a class war, not a race war, not anything, not a Republican versus Democrat war, because every last one of them people in Congress is rich. They all working together. We looking at this to parse through the data and the information to understand how we can get richer, because it is a class war and the middle class is going away. And so when he says things like this gives me insight information on how it is that I need to be doing my research so I can know where it is that I need to put my money. And then I can predict what is going to happen 5, 10, 15 years from now by then aligning myself and making the strategic investments from a long-term perspective. And then my family and my daughter and everybody is going to reap the benefits as a result of it. That's what they do. That's how they get so rich. They ain't get rich from their Congress salary. What you think, every single member in Congress is rich because of their salary? They not. That's not how they make their money. If you're not following the money, then you're missing it. Let's continue.
We all saw what happened during the pandemic when chip factories shut down overseas. Today's automobiles need 3,000 chips, each of those automobiles. But American automobiles couldn't make enough cars because there weren't enough chips. Car prices went up, people got laid off. So did everything from refrigerators to cell phones. We can never let that happen again. That's why we came together to pass the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act.
Y'all not falling for this foolishness, are y'all? Are y'all falling for this?
For America begins in America. The supply chain begins in America.
It does not. The supply chain does not begin in America, and ASML is not even an American company. The supply chain does not even begin in America. Listen, if you go on Apple, if you look at any Apple product, if you look at this iPhone, and you look at the boxes or whatever it is that they come in, right? It'll say designed by Apple. You know where it's manufactured at? Come on, man.
We've already created 800,000 new manufacturing jobs without this law, before the law kicks in. With this new law, we're going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs across the country. And I mean all across the country, throughout not just the coast, but through the middle of the country as well. That's going to come from companies that have announced more than $300 billion in investment in American manufacturing over the next few years. Outside of Columbus, Ohio, Intel is building semiconductor factories.
Do y'all know y'all know who paying for these factories that Intel is building, NVIDIA is building, and all of these places? Okay, listen. Because y'all don't understand politics because you're not following the money. Do you know that these semiconductor chip companies that are all building these factories in Texas and Austin and all of this other type of stuff, do you know where they're getting the money and why they're so profitable? You know what's propping these companies up, regardless of the fact that it's not even a chip shortage anymore and it's eased? It's you. When they pass these acts, what do you think is causing the inflation? What do you think the taxes is coming from? Where do you think that your money is going when you pay into these taxes? You're the one. Do you know? In 2022, Congress passed the CHIPS Act to strengthen the domestic semiconductor manufacturing, design, and research, to fortify the economy and national security, and reinforce America's chip supply chains. Okay, interesting. The share of modern semiconductor manufacturing capacity in the U.S. has eroded from 37% in 1990 to 12% today, mostly because of other countries. I just Googled this. I literally just Googled this. Mostly because other countries governments have invested ambitiously in chip manufacturing incentives, and the U.S. government has not. Meanwhile, federal investments in chip research has been flat. Congress passed the CHIPS Act in 2022, which includes semiconductor manufacturing grants. Do you know what it means when they say grants and research investment and investment in tax credit for chip manufacturing? Do you know what that means? It means that they're giving all of these companies and these CEOs tens and hundreds of billions of dollars in order for them to build these plants, and then they justify it in order to say, yeah, we created more jobs. In reality, they're making the companies richer just so they can block out China from catching up from how powerful these chips are. They're artificially printing money so that they can prop up these companies so that they can win your vote. In reality, they're not incentivized to do so, and this is not capitalism at its finest. This is market manipulation by the federal government, depending on whoever it is in office. And the ones that make the most money as a result of it are the ones that are most informed, the ones that are following the CHIPS Act, the one that's really understanding where the incentives is going, the people that understand who's lobbying in Congress in order to make sure that these. Do you think that these companies and Jesus Christ, they're taxing you, the middle class? That's not coming out of my money. They're taxing you. You're the one that's paying for it, buddy. They're not creating the jobs. They're doing it on your back. And you know where all of the money then goes? To whomever it is that's invested as a shareholder in the companies that are then building the chips manufacturing facilities. Because then they have to meet a quota, and they say, well, if we're going to give you this money, then you got to hire so many people. And so they're artificially inflating the economy while pretending to drive down inflation, when in reality, you're the one that's paying for it with your tax dollars. They're creating more slaves, and you don't really even understand the cycle. You don't get it. You don't understand why inflation is so high, because you don't know how to follow the money. And it's so easy for you to just have this conversation and say, could Republicans versus Democrats, black people are oppressed, it's the oppression Olympics, white people. It's because you don't understand that it's a class war. They friends in Congress, regardless of whether or not they say they know what's going on. Every last one of them is benefiting from it. Why do you think that there's so many billions of dollars that's spent during an election season, and where that money comes from? You think that it just comes out of thin air? You think that it's your $2 and $3 and $40 donation that's empowering whoever it is being impressed? Where do you think that these special acquisition companies come from? Where do you think that these PACs come from that then donate, and the lobbyists and all of this stuff? You think that that money is just going nowhere? It's just companies, they just love Biden or they just love Trump? You think that that's the move, that's the game? Y'all can't be this. Y'all can't be this slow.
On 1,000 acres, literally a field of dreams. It's going to create 10,000 jobs, that one investment. 7,000 construction jobs. 3,000 jobs in those factories once they're finished. They call them factories. Jobs paying an average of $130,000 a year, and many do not require a college degree. Jobs. Because we work together, these jobs where people don't have to leave home to search for opportunity. And it's just getting started. Think about the new homes, the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses. So much more that's going to be needed to support those 3,000 permanent jobs and the factories that are going to be built. Talk to mayors and governors, Democrats and Republicans, and they'll tell you what this means for their communities. We're seeing these field of dreams transform to the heartland. But to maintain the strongest economy in the world, we need the best infrastructure in the world. And folks, as you all know,
now, let me guess. He's going to talk about the infrastructure bill and the act that he passed as a result of getting more of y'all tax dollars, and they're going to tax the rich and give it to the poor, right?
We used to be #1 in the world in infrastructure. We've sunk to 13th in the world. The United States of America, 13th in the world in infrastructure, modern infrastructure. But now we're coming back because we came together and passed the bipartisan infrastructure law, the largest investment in infrastructure since President.
What did I tell you he was going to say? I had no look. Watch this. Watch this. Let me slow it down for the people in the back.
13th in the world. The United States of America, 13th in the world in infrastructure, modern infrastructure. But now we're coming back because we came together and passed the bipartisan infrastructure law.
Because we came together and we passed the Okay. Come on, man. Y'all can't. Yo, listen. This is more of a telegraph pass than I seen Kendrick Perkins make or Chris Webber made when he threw the ball out of bounds. Everybody knew that he was throwing that ball out of bounds. Everybody knew that Chris Martin was in on that. If this wasn't the most telegraph pass that I've ever seen in my entire life, and y'all actually falling for this, y'all actually falling for the okie doke, black people, white people, poor people, rich people, please don't tell me that you're falling for the okie doke. I'm reading Super Chat shortly. Don't worry about it.
Largest investment in infrastructure since President Eisenhower's interstate highway system. And folks, already we've funded over 20,000 projects, including major airports from Boston to Atlanta to Portland. Projects that are going to put thousands of people to work rebuilding our highways, our bridges, our railroads, our tunnels, ports, airports, clean water, high-speed internet, all across America. Urban, rural, tribal. And folks, we're just getting started.
Y'all want to know what else is in that act that they didn't tell you about? Y'all want to know what else is in that act? Don't worry. We can break it down. Oh, they got limited information in there. Don't worry about it. We can find it. See, I get to the source. I don't do all of the extras. I just get straight to the source. Let's find out what's in the act. Appropriations. Authorization of appropriations. Obligation ceiling. Okay, let's go down. Oh, man, this thing is like 100 pages long. Jesus. Who's reading all of this? Let's find the cliff notes for the people in the back. Biden's infrastructure law. $350 billion over 5 years. New programs, new opportunities. I'm gonna have to go and break this down at some point for the bag chasers because they thought that they was gonna throw literally 300 pages of documentation in front of me and we wasn't gonna figure out what was in that act because I know it's in the act, but I want to parse through and break down in another segment exactly what's in this act that he wants to champion, and they want to just throw a whole little bamboozle over our eyes, and we just supposed to rock with it. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Prez. Don't worry. I'm gonna inform my people before the next election. So
just getting started. And I mean this sincerely. I want to thank my Republican friends who voted for the law, and my Republican friends who voted against it as well. But I still get asked to fund the projects in those districts as well. But don't worry. I promised I'd be a president for all Americans.
He throwing shots at the Republicans, too. You see that?
We'll fund these projects. And I'll see you at the groundbreaking. Look, this law will further unite all of America. Projects like Brent Spence Bridge in Kentucky over the Ohio River, built 60 years ago, badly needed repairs, one of the nation's most congested freight routes, carrying $2 billion worth of freight every single day across the Ohio River. And folks, I've been talking about fixing it for decades, but we're really finally going to get it done. I went there last month with Democrats and Republicans and from both states to deliver a commitment of $1.6 billion for this project. Is the ship in the box? I don't know. Sarah, how are you? Well, Sarah, for 30 years, I learned, she told me she'd been a proud member of the Iron Workers Local 44, known as the Cowboys in the Sky. The folks who built.
You always got to have that token black person in the audience to make sure that we celebrate them and listen. Hey, Sarah, you good up there? How's it feel? Iron Workers of America. Yeah.
Built Cincinnati skyline. Sarah said she can't wait to be 10 stories above the Ohio River building that new bridge. God bless her. That's pride. And that's what we're also building. We're building back pride. Look, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America, 400,000 school and child care centers. So every child in America can drink the water instead of having permanent damage to their brain. Look, we're making sure that every community in America has access to affordable high-speed internet. No parent should have to drive by McDonald's parking lot to help them do their homework online with their kids, which many thousands are doing across the country. And when we do these projects, and again, I get criticized for this, but I make no excuses for it, we're going to buy American. We're going to buy America. Folks, America has been the law since 1933, but for too long, past administrations, Democrat and Republican, have fought to get around it. Not anymore. Tonight, I'm announcing new standards require all construction materials used in federal infrastructure projects to be made in America. Made in America. American products as well. Folks, my economic plan is about investing in places and people that have been forgotten. So many of you listening to me tonight, I know you feel it. So many of you felt like you've just simply been forgotten. Amid the economic upheaval of the past 4 decades, too many people have been left behind and treated like they're invisible. Maybe that's you watching from home. Remember the jobs that went away. You remember them, don't you? The folks at home remember them. You wonder whether the path even exists anymore for your children to get ahead without having to move away. Well, that's why, I get that. That's why we're building an economy where no one's left behind.
Y'all can't be falling for this nonsense, bro. I pulled myself up by my own bootstraps, bro. When everything was ruined and everything was messed up, I said, you know what? Me and my chick gonna be rich. My daughter ain't never gonna suffer as a result of this nonsense. Not left behind. You hear this? You really going for this? You can't even go get a pack of eggs.
Jobs are coming back. Pride is coming back because choices we made in the last several years. You know, this is, in my view, a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America. Make a real difference in your lives at home. For example, too many of you lay in bed at night like my dad did, staring at the ceiling, wondering what in God's name happens if your spouse gets cancer or your child gets deadly ill or something.
Oh, if that wasn't a timed camera pan. Jeez. Oh my God, my people cannot be this finessed.
Happens to you. What are you going to get money to pay for those medical bills? Or are you going to have to sell the house or try to get a second mortgage on it? I get it. With the Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law, we're taking on powerful interests to bring healthcare costs down so you can sleep better at night with more security. You know, we pay more for prescription drugs than any nation in the world. Let me say it again. We pay more for prescription drugs than any major nation on earth. For example, 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. Many of you in this chamber do, and in the audience. But every day, millions need insulin to control their diabetes so they can literally.
Or we can just tap into the Alpha Juice Company so that we ain't got to worry about getting it in the first place. And that way we can prevent ourselves from having to deal with it in the first place.
Really stay alive.
Will he also say that we the fattest nation in the world? Will he also say that we're the fattest nation in the world?
Insulin's been around for over 100 years. The guy who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available for everyone. It cost the drug companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin. Packaging and all, you may get up to $13. But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars, $400 to $500 a month, making record profits.
You know what that incentivized me to do? Make sure that I ain't got no diabetes then.
Not anymore. Not anymore. So many things that we did are only now coming to fruition. We said we were doing this, and we said we passed a law to do it, but people didn't know because the law didn't take effect until January 1 of this year. We capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare. But people are just finding out. I'm sure you're getting the same calls I'm getting. Look, there are millions of other Americans who do not or are not on Medicare, including 200,000 young people.
You're right, Big. I'm about to read
need this insulin to stay alive. Let's finish the job this time. Let's cap the cost of insulin for everybody at $35. Folks, the Big Pharma is still going to do very well, I promise you all. I promise you they're going to do very well. This law also caps, and won't go into effect until 2025, out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare at a maximum of $2,000 a year. You don't have to pay more than $2,000 a year, no matter how much your drug costs are. Because you know why? You all know it. Many of you, like many.
All right. I can't take no more. I'm broken. I'm absolutely broken. I might have to get Kwame to break this down. He got to sign that paperwork first. You got to sign that paperwork first. Listen, Anton is a fair negotiator. Don't worry. We'll get there. Let me read these super chats, see what y'all talking about. Anton, oh yeah, I read that one. Shout out to you. Yeah, hit me up. Email me. Anybody that needs to get in touch with me, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and I'm going to make sure that I get you taken care of from a business perspective. And if you need to get in touch with me for a coaching call or a personal call, email me at that same address, antondaniels413@gmail.com, and I'm going to get you set up for a Zoom call or a personal call. Shout out to Amos. I appreciate you, big dog. Mel Duke says Uncle Ruckus didn't show from the Supreme Court. Hovey Baby 316 says, wait. Did you catch the first lady and the second gentleman kiss each other in the mouth in the beginning? That's different. No, I didn't catch that. Dalen says, I was done after he started talking about chips. Love me some chips, but that was hilarious. How about quality food homegrown? Dizzy Roth says, Biden keeps sending billions to the Ukraine, but can't use that money to clear up student loan debt or help rebuild the middle class. Mr. Exclusive Josh says, sup, AD. Keep up the success. I'm going to email you. I remember that black chick from Pearl's Andrew Tate and Brittany Renner panel. She's for the streets. Really? I didn't remember her. Interesting. Tyler Benton says, but Anton, did you say you just paid off a loan a few videos ago that did not affect your credit in some type of way? Well, the whole idea of it, and this is why you need to be inside of the Bag Chasers, is that everything is in business. This is my personal credit, right? And it's different when you're looking at everything from a business perspective because you start making decisions from a business perspective, right? When you talk about trusts, when you talk about LLCs, and I break all of that down inside of the Patreon, just because I paid off a mortgage, one of my mortgaged properties, does not mean that the mortgage is not in my business name. And so I need y'all to start parsing through to better understand exactly how it is that you operate. And I can also show the receipts for that too. I paid $100 and I believe it was $63,000 to pay that off. And I have no problem showing the receipts. Let me show you a couple of those payments. And I'll show you the dates on them too. Give me 1 second. Let me open it up. Trade transactions. Accounts. Yeah. Activity. Had to wire some money out. So. This is the electronic funds transfer right here. Why is it so blurry? Give me a second. Here's the first direct debit. Oh, I gotta switch it around. Here. You see it? 101,000. Let me blow it up for you. That's 26, 101 from Central Loan Administration. And then let's go to the next one. This is the second one on 27. Now, why did Anton pay 101 on the first one and then 60,800 on the second one? Well, the reason why I pay 101 on the first one is because the maximum amount that you can pay on the principal is up to $100,000 on one payment, right? And so that's why I went ahead and I paid $100,000 on 2/6. Well, it actually went through on 2/6. It was implemented on 2/2 or 2/3, and then I paid the other $60-something thousand right after that because you want to pay off the entirety of it, right? And so how it is that you're moving from a business perspective is completely different from using your personal credit. And this is one of the reasons why I said that I was going to actually do a Patreon where I can break down to you why your personal credit does not matter. Let me say it again. Your personal credit does not matter. When people keep talking about, or you see women say, I want a man that make $100,000 a year and I want him to have good credit, that just tells me that you don't know what you're talking about and you really don't understand what a high value man is, because that man in particular, just because he makes $100,000 a year, is only taking home $67,000 because he doesn't understand how money works, and him becoming a part of the gamification system of having personal good credit then just puts him in a rat race to continue to pay interest towards the people that's not actually giving him any return on his money, and he's just paying interest to the mortgage company. And Anton is always going to talk about Anton because people ask me personal questions. And see, this is what y'all need to ask. This is what y'all need to ask yourself. Y'all need to look at people that show the receipts. The reason why I use myself as an example is because why would I use somebody else's life as an example when I actually live it myself? Why would I talk about what other people should do when I can use myself as an example because I'm a reflection of the thing that I am? If I'm going to tell you about marriage, I'm going to use my own life as an example because I've been married for almost 2 decades. If I tell you about money, I'm going to use my own life as an example because I'm rich as fuck. If I tell you how to be a great parent, I'm going to give you the game. All the way across the board, I am a reflection of the thing that I advocate for. And so if you want to actually get somebody that's going to tell you a bunch of bullshit that's not actually living it, that's one thing. If you actually want to come to the truth and you can't parse through my ego in order to get the meat, then get the fuck out of here. If you can't parse through what it is that I stand for and me talking about myself and using myself as an example, who asked you to click on the live stream? I'm going to always show the receipts. I'm always going to take you along for the journey, and I'm always going to be a reflection of the thing that I'm advocating for. I don't just give wild game based off of YouTube talking points. I give game based off of my real life and lived experience. So shut the fuck up and take this game, man. I'm so tired of y'all niggas complaining. These niggas always complaining about getting free game. Shut the fuck up and you might learn something. You got 2 ears and a mouth for a reason. Put the fucking phone down and just watch this shit on TV so you can't say nothing. You can actually parse through the information so you can get the game, you dumbass. Damn, I hate you niggas, man. Always wasting my time. Hovey Baby says, Anton giving away Patreon talk in regards to ASML and how to pivot financially. Sometimes I give him the game. I give him a little bit of what it is that we do over in the Patreon. Raiders World says, how do you follow the money? And I appreciate the call you had with my wife and I. We'll become a bag chaser soon. Everything that you do, you have to understand that it always comes It always comes back down to the money. Whether they talking about politics, whether we talking about relationships. When I say I look at when I say that I look at my relationship from a business perspective first, does that mean that I don't love my wife? Absolutely. Obviously, it doesn't mean that I don't love my wife. But in order for me to extract the most out of the relationship, in order to ensure we have the best life, I have to first, as a man, look at it from a business perspective to make sure that I'm leveraging my marriage to get the most out of it. I have to look at what it is that they're saying in politics in order to understand why they were able to fund some of the stuff that they fund. How are they able to get certain things done? Who's donating and who's giving the lobbyists? What companies is benefiting as a result of it? And then how is this CHIPS Act then empowering America to be much more greater, because it's somebody that's going to profit as a result of it. Everything that we have going on all around us is all about the money. Everything. Everything, it comes back to the money. And if you're able to follow the money, even if you listen, if you look at gang culture, if you look at rap music, if you look at the worst things for us that we celebrate within the black community, one of the reasons why it is the way it is because it's all tied back to the money in some way, shape, or form, and people don't see it. You think it's the culture. You think we just cool. You think that black people just do what it is that they doing. No, black people have been incentivized. What do you think feminism is? How do you think that black people are then tied to the Democratic Party? What do you think that they gave us in order to be able to sell us? Why do you think that the gay community is doing the same thing that black people did as far as tying themselves to a specific party based off of a strategy that's been implemented for tens and hundreds of years? If you ever want to get somebody to do something out of character, all you got to do is try to understand what their price is. Don't ask them what the price is. Know how much it's going to cost them. And then implement that strategy, and every single time you will win. Every single time you will win. It's people that will set up their own mama to get killed in order to make a couple dollars. It's people that will sell crack to their own grandmother in order to make an extra $5. If you don't think that money is the incentive behind every single thing that we do, then you are sorely mistaken. If you think that Umar Johnson is really building a school for the past decade and a half, you are sorely mistaken. That's just my personal opinion, allegedly. If you think that he allegedly building a school that, come on, man. Think about it, y'all. If tuition is going to cost you $15,000 to $20,000 a year per student for black people, who in this community that's hitting the Cash App is going to be the ones that's going to be able to pay for that? Tuition at some of the greatest schools throughout Michigan, specifically that I know of, costs less than that. And it's very hard to be able to get the certain people to be able to afford it. And so you're telling, let me stop. Anyways, follow the money. You'll better understand exactly what's going on in our society. Let me jump more into some of these super chats. Droid Life says, just bought $12,000 worth of chips and parts, all from China. The CHIPS Act was necessary to protect tech startups and lower the cost of production. Okay. Patty Jackson, thank you for the super chat too. Patty Jackson with the $5 says, Anton up here giving out straight fire. You just opened up my mind to a new meaning of politics. Keep spitting facts, bro. Stick with me. I'm going to break it down for you. The Big Podcast says this is an ensemble. Need Kwame's point of view. I'm going to tap into it. Don't worry about it. I actually got Kwame on the phone the other day. JT Coin Ring says, hello, Anton and the Bag Chasers. Thank you for the Super Bowl. I appreciate you. Tyler Benton says, I joined the Patreon now. I'm learning a thing or two. Got to open up that mind, man. I'm about to open up that mind. I'm going to break it down. Love C says, hey, Anton, I have an April coaching call, but I need something sooner as well. How can I check for cancellations or a seat at the table? See, damn, you a bag chaser though, so I might have to. I'll try to get you in this weekend. See, how about that? I am going to move some things around. See, because I love my bag chasers, and when my bag chaser said, "Anton, I need to do something a little different," I got you. See, give me a second. I'm gonna hit you up. Tonight. All right, I got you, baby girl. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all got some form of education through the entertainment. We are always going to be doing the thing that's in your best interest over here at the Bag Chasers University. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, Alpha Juice Company. This is really, really good. I like this one. This one is called Forbidden Fruit. A lot of people say they like the Blue Meanie. The link to purchase your Alpha Juice Company is in the description, but do not order it without first putting in the discount code. The discount code is Anton, Anton10, Anton25, depending on whatever it is that you're rocking with. I recommend that you get the Forbidden Fruit, but that's what I personally like. It's a couple other ones that I really, really like also. But make sure y'all tap into the Alpha Juice Company. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It is Wednesday. Don't fumble on a Thursday. Some of y'all going to get paid early tomorrow, but we're going to do the same thing tomorrow. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be rich by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. I am going to continue to pour into you and rock with you. And I'm going to hold us all accountable because we equal accountability partners. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.